What's good, African family? Welcome back to the African Wahala. I just wanted to talk about this brave man out of Uganda. He's a writer. He goes by the name Kakwenza Rukira Bashaija. He's a writer, and the book that you see him holding in the picture is one of his most popular works, The Greedy Barbarian. The Greedy Barbarian describes how greedy politicians have destroyed different countries, okay, in an imaginary country, and how they use force. As you can see, the fat, greedy barbarian in the photo has an AK-47 and he's feeding fat. And this is a perfect depiction of Yoweri Museveni, the president of Uganda. Yoweri Museveni has been the president since 1986, when he violently took over power because he was a rebel that was fighting against the regimes of Idi Amin and Obote. And then once he became the president, the entire world, the powerful countries of the world, the United States, European Union, and the rest of them, they recognized Museveni as a good boy, as someone they can support, because his administration had better human rights actions compared to the previous administrations. So fast forward 36 years later, 2022, Museveni's administration has completely destroyed human rights in Uganda, snatches away the internet whenever he chooses to. Like in January of 2021, there was a presidential election and thousands of people were arrested, hundreds of people were killed by the police and military. The people that were arrested, taken away in drones. Drones are vehicles that security forces take people in randomly on the street because they do not support Museveni. And they are taken away to unknown locations where they are tortured, dehumanized, and killed in many times. A lot of these people come out with permanent disabilities. Some are brain dead, others are simply killed. That is the legacy of Yoweri Museveni. Now, there are many Africans that are fighting against this oppression. The number one person that I can think of right now in Uganda is Robert Kyagulanyi, Bobby Wine. Bobby Wine has being an upstanding Ugandan. He even contested against Museveni in 2021 against all odds, against all the arrests, multiple arrests, illegal tortures, against the murders of his supporters. He still contested, and eventually he lost because the elections were rigged by Museveni. Clearly, like I said earlier, the internet was shut down during the time of the elections and people couldn't really relay the information that was going on wherever they were in the country. That was the case. Now, Bobby Wine put out a tweet about Kakwenza. He says, "Very delighted that our brother Kakwenza Rukira is safely out of Uganda and hopefully now safe from Museveni and his murderous son. Kakwenza joins thousands of Ugandans in exile in different countries. My conviction is that they will soon return home because freedom is in sight." I completely agree with that, because different people bring different skill sets to the table in terms of fighting for a better country, in terms of fighting against a tyrannical government. In the case of Bobby Wine, is trying to attack the system through a political means by contesting for the presidency. He has a huge support in Uganda, but the rigged system set up by Museveni and his son makes it very difficult, but freedom will eventually be achieved. Now, in the case of Kakwenza Rukira Bashaija, what he brings to the table is intellectual writings. He writes books, articles that enlightens a lot of Ugandans and makes them want a better country because they deserve a better country. So I have nothing but respect for anybody that is a freedom fighter that is sick and tired of repression and oppression by his government. Now, Kakwenza, he was arrested and tortured extremely. I'm going to show you a photo of his body after he was released. Now, Kakwenza was arrested the first time, tortured severely around late December of 2021. The reason why he was arrested was because he put out tweets on Twitter criticizing Museveni and his son for their repression of Ugandans. He called Museveni a thief, and obviously Museveni is a thief. We all know he is. He called his son an obese, some other derogatory word. And Museveni and his son sent a bunch of soldiers to Kakwenza's home. He was kidnapped illegally, taken away to an unknown location where he was tortured severely. I'll show you guys one of the quotations in his description of how he was tortured. He says, "They started using a pair of pliers and plucked flesh from my thigh and everywhere else." That's how bad these guys tortured him. But the good thing is, right now, Kakwenza is in Malawi, Southern African country, and then he plans to go to Germany for medical treatment. And then after that is done, he will return to Uganda and continue the struggle for a better country. The walls are caving in against these tyrants. I tell you the truth. These tyrants and their sponsors. You see, the United States is one of the major sponsors of Uganda, supporters of Museveni's regime for 36 straight years. And it's such an irony because the same United States claims that democracy is what the entire world needs. If democracy is what the entire world needs, how come the United States supports a tyrant? Someone that has been in power for 36 years without accomplishing anything but increasing the poverty in the country and making himself a multi-billionaire. Why is the United States still giving him weapons to kill his people with? You see, that shows you that these Western powers are obviously benefiting from the repression going on in many African countries, including Uganda. And without the support of countries like the United States, it'll be more difficult for the oppression to continue. But I'm not even putting the blame on the United States right now. I am putting the blame on this criminal on the screen, Museveni, and his cronies, because they are enslaving their own people for their own personal benefit. They collaborate with imperialists from all over the world to enslave their people for their own benefit. A traitor is worse than an enemy. So these guys are traitors and they are worse than enemies. And I'm gonna leave it at that. But the most important thing is I have to salute the good brother Kakwenza for being a stand-up guy, for being a fearless guy, living right there in the epicenter of torture and terror, not giving a damn, writing out books. And let's keep it 100%. The picture right here looks very, very similar to Museveni. Thank you for watching. Catch you next time. Peace.